Have you ever felt the strange, almost electric sensation that you've lived a moment before? Not in this lifetime, not in this body, but somewhere else? A fleeting déjà vu, an echo of a life that was never yours, yet somehow was. What if these moments weren't glitches in your memory, but whispers from parallel realities brushing against your awareness? Realities where another version of you is making different choices, walking different paths, and unlocking different destinies. Tonight, we're venturing beyond the borders of ordinary perception, not into fiction, not into speculation, but into a hidden truth that ancient mystics, shamans, and philosophers have been guarding for centuries. The truth that reality is not singular, but layered, like pages in an infinite cosmic book. And right now, you are reading only one of those pages. In this video, we're diving deep into the esoteric understanding of parallel realities. Not the scientific multiverse theory you've heard 100 times, but the mystical, experiential, and often forbidden knowledge that reveals how realities shift, collide, and respond to human consciousness. You'll discover how ancient civilizations understood these subtle worlds, why their teachings were concealed, and how your thoughts, emotions, and choices may already be pulling you into alternate timelines without you even realizing it. We'll explore stories of sages who claim to travel between dimensions by altering their state of being, forgotten manuscripts that hint at worlds just beyond perception, and the uncanny ways your reality rearranges itself when your consciousness expands. By the end of this journey, you may begin to question a fundamental assumption you've always lived with, that you are confined to a single, fixed life. Because the deeper truth is this: your reality is far more fluid, responsive, and multidimensional than you've ever been told. So take a breath, slow your mind, and prepare to step through a doorway that has always been there, just waiting for you to notice it. Long before modern physics spoke of quantum potentials and branching timelines, ancient civilizations whispered about worlds layered atop one another like veils of light. To them, the idea of a single fixed reality was not only limiting, it was incorrect. Reality, they believed, was a living tapestry that shifted with consciousness, intention, and spiritual alignment. Consider the ancient Egyptians. In the hidden teachings attributed to Thoth, later known to the Greeks as Hermes Trismegistus, there are references to many worlds within the one, realms where different versions of events unfolded based on the soul's resonance. These were not metaphors. The priests of the mystery schools trained initiates to navigate the subtle landscapes of the Duat, believing that each soul simultaneously existed in multiple states and dimensions. To walk consciously between them required discipline, purity of intention, and a mastery over one's inner vibration. Further east in India, the sages of the Upanishads described lokas, realms of existence that coexisted with the physical world. These were not merely heavens or hells, but planes vibrating at different frequencies, akin to parallel realities accessible through meditation, ritual, or shifts in awareness. The concept of Maya, often mistranslated as illusion, originally referred to the fluid and malleable nature of reality itself. What we perceive as solid and immutable is simply one version among many. The ancient Taoists held a similar view. In their meditative texts, particularly those of the early inner alchemy traditions, they spoke of shadow worlds, adjacent realities shaped by intention, where a person could encounter different outcomes of their own destiny. Some alchemists claimed that one could sense the echoes of these outcomes during deep stillness, and through subtle acts of will, align themselves with more favorable versions of their life path. Even the indigenous peoples of the Americas, such as the Navajo and the Maya, told stories of the layered earth, where shamans could shift their consciousness to perceive alternate versions of events. These shifts were achieved not by technology, but by aligning with the rhythms of nature and the unseen currents that shaped existence. What unites all these traditions is a single, profound belief. Reality is not a singular experience, but a spectrum of potentials, and consciousness is the navigator. So why was this knowledge buried, fragmented, or hidden in symbolism. For one reason, power. A society that understands the fluidity of reality becomes impossible to control. Individuals who recognize their ability to shift timelines cannot be governed by fear or confined by predetermined narratives. And so, throughout history, this wisdom was reserved for initiates, encoded in myth, scattered across esoteric manuscripts, and protected by those who understood its potential. Today, as the modern world becomes increasingly unstable, humanity is beginning to rediscover what the ancients always knew, that the boundaries between realities are far thinner than we imagine. And those who learn to sense and shape these subtle shifts gain access to a level of freedom once reserved only for mystics and seers. To understand parallel realities, we must first step away from the idea that reality is a single, linear track. Instead, imagine reality as a vast ocean, endless, fluid, shimmering with countless possibilities. You are not a boat drifting on this ocean. You are the ocean itself, and every wave is a potential version of your life unfolding simultaneously. Most people experience only one version because their awareness is narrowly tuned, like a radio fixed on a single frequency. But just as a radio can tune into different stations, your consciousness can tune into different realities. The key is recognizing that these realities are not out there. They are layered right here, interwoven with the present moment. Ancient mystics described reality as a field of probabilities, each one responding to your inner state. Modern metaphysics echoes this idea. Your beliefs, emotions, and focus act like coordinates, determining which version of reality you align with. Think of it this way: when you make a choice, even a small one, you're not merely changing the future. You're shifting into a version of yourself that already made that choice. Take a simple example. Imagine two versions of you waking up tomorrow morning. In one version, you rise with clarity, focus, and gratitude. In the other, you wake up restless, irritated, and unsure. Both realities exist simultaneously as potentials, but the one you experience is determined by your state of being. Your emotional frequency is the steering wheel. But here's where things become truly fascinating. Parallel realities aren't exotic or distant. They are operating in your life constantly. You experience micro-shifts all the time. Have you ever noticed how some days everything feels aligned? Traffic flows, conversations feel effortless, unexpected opportunities appear as if on cue. And on other days, everything seems subtly out of place, like you've slipped into a slightly different version of your life. These fluctuations are not random. They are tiny shifts between parallel states, often triggered by your thoughts, moods, or unconscious patterns. To illustrate this, imagine your life as a hallway, lined with an infinite number of doors. Each door leads to a slightly different version of your life path, some radically different, others almost identical. Most people walk through the hallway unaware of the doors entirely, believing they have no choice but to move straight ahead. But the truth is far more empowering. You are always choosing doors, consciously or unconsciously. Events in your life rearrange themselves based on the door you're aligned with. Relationships evolve differently. Opportunities appear or disappear. Even your sense of purpose shifts subtly depending on which version of reality you're inhabiting. This is why your state of consciousness is so crucial. It is not merely a mood. It's a vibrational signature that determines which door opens before you. Here's a deeper layer. Parallel realities don't function like separate worlds with distinct physical boundaries. Instead, they overlay one another like transparent films. Every shift is like adjusting the focus on a camera lens. You bring one layer into clarity while the others fade into the background. This is why déjà vu feels so uncanny. For a moment, your focus slips, and you catch a glimpse of another layer, a reality in which you have already lived the moment, or perhaps chose differently. In esoteric traditions, this is called bleed-through. Subtle sensations, synchronicities, or déjà vu moments are not anomalies. They're signs that your consciousness is brushing against another version of itself. And yet, The greatest secret is this: you are not moving between realities. Realities move to meet you. Your inner world shifts first. The outer world adjusts afterward. This flips the traditional understanding of life upside down. Instead of being a passive traveler, you are the projector, the lighthouse, the anchor around which reality organizes itself. The world doesn't determine your state. Your state determines your world. If Part 1 revealed that parallel realities respond to your inner state, Part 2 invites you deeper into the mechanics, the symbolism, and the hidden paradoxes that make this truth both mystical and astonishingly practical. Let's return to the metaphor of realities as overlapping films. Each film contains a slightly different storyline, but here's the catch: you can never see all films at once. Your consciousness acts as the lens, selecting which film is projected onto the screen you call your life. This selection happens not through logic or force, but through resonance. Resonance is the secret language of the universe. Every thought carries a frequency. Every emotion has a texture. Every belief generates a field. Together, these form your vibrational identity, and this identity determines which reality aligns with you. But here's where the paradox emerges. You don't consciously remember choosing most of your beliefs, emotions, or identities. Many were adopted unconsciously, shaped by childhood, society, trauma, culture. And so, without realizing it, most people inhabit realities they never consciously chose. This is why mystics throughout history insisted on inner mastery as the path to outer transformation. They weren't speaking in poetic metaphors. They were describing the mechanics of reality shifting. To deepen this, consider an ancient Hermetic concept: as above, so below, as within, so without. Many interpret this as a statement about harmony in nature, but at its core it points to a profound truth. Your inner world is the blueprint your external world must follow. Now imagine someone vibrationally anchored in fear. Their inner frequency is chaotic, contracted. Therefore, the film that aligns with them is filled with obstacles, tension, and scarcity. But this doesn't mean reality is inherently hostile. It simply means they are tuned to a version of it that reflects their inner state. Conversely, someone anchored in clarity, trust, and purpose experiences a different film, one where synchronicity is common, relationships are nourishing, and opportunities seem to arise at just the right time. Both realities exist simultaneously. Both are valid, but they are worlds apart. Another ancient concept that ties into this is the idea of timelines. In many esoteric traditions, from Vedic cosmology to Kabbalistic mysticism, time is not a straight line, but a braid of possibilities. Each possibility branches from your choices, but more importantly, from your identity in the moment of choosing. For instance, imagine two people making the exact same decision, leaving a job. One leaves from fear of stagnation, fear of failure. The other leaves from expansion, trust in their path, excitement for growth. They've taken the same outward action, yet they've entered different timelines. Their internal reasons place them in different versions of the future. This reveals a profound secret. Your intention is the steering wheel of reality, not your actions alone. Now, let's explore a deeper layer still, the phenomenon of reality bleeding. This occurs when elements from one timeline briefly appear in another, like echoes or shadows. It can show up as meeting someone new but feeling you've known them forever, having an unexplainable sense that you avoided danger without realizing how sudden, dramatic shifts in your preferences, desires, or personality. Memories that feel misplaced or out of order. Significant synchronicities clustering around a major life decision. These are not coincidences. They are markers of a timeline convergence, moments when two or more parallel realities briefly overlap before you settle into one. Many consider this spiritual awakening. In truth, it is remembering that you were never confined to a single path. And here is perhaps the deepest insight of all. You are not a being traveling through parallel realities. You are the source from which all parallel realities emerge. Each timeline is a reflection of a possible state of consciousness within you. Shift the state, and a new reality unfolds. Those who grasp this become the authors of their destiny, not through control but through alignment, not through force but through awareness. Understanding parallel realities is fascinating, but living the truth is where the transformation begins. This section isn't about abstract theories. It's about stepping into the driver's seat of your own timeline, consciously and deliberately. Let's start with something simple yet profound. You shift realities by shifting states of being. This means your emotions, thoughts, and inner dialogues are not passive experiences. They are levers, codes, coordinates. The more deliberate you become with these inner tools, the more fluidly you can navigate between different versions of your life. 1. The state alignment technique. Begin your day with a simple practice. Before getting out of bed, choose your state intentionally. Don't think about your to-do list. Don't recall yesterday's stress. Instead, ask yourself, who is the version of me I choose to be today? Visualize that version, not the circumstances, the state. Is this version calm, focused, confident, joyful? Anchor that feeling in your body for a few breaths. This is your vibrational signature for the day. If you hold this state even loosely, you begin aligning with the timeline that matches it. Small decisions start to shift. Different opportunities arise. People respond to you differently. This practice is simple, but its effects accumulate rapidly. 2. The frequency check. Throughout the day, pause periodically and ask, what reality am I agreeing to right now? This question disrupts autopilot patterns. If you catch yourself in fear, frustration, or doubt, you're not failing. You're simply becoming conscious. A single breath, a shift in posture, or a moment of gratitude can move you back toward the timeline you actually want to inhabit. Think of it as tuning a radio. Static doesn't mean something is wrong. It means it's time to adjust the dial. 3. The parallel self-dialogue. In many mystical traditions, it was believed that you could contact alternate versions of yourself, versions who have already mastered what you're trying to learn. This isn't fantasy. It's a powerful psychological and energetic technique. Choose an area of life you want to shift: health, purpose, relationships, creativity. Then imagine a version of yourself who has already achieved the outcome you desire. Ask them, how do you think? How do you act? What do you no longer tolerate? What do you believe about yourself? Write down the answers intuitively. Do not overthink. You are accessing a deeper layer of your own consciousness, your own potential, through symbolic imagery. These answers often feel strangely familiar because you are literally aligning with a parallel identity. 4. The timeline. Jump ritual. This ritual has roots in Hermetic and Taoist practices. It's a symbolic but powerful method for consciously shifting states. Stand with your feet together. Imagine a line of light before you. This is your desired timeline. Behind you is your current timeline, not as a negative but as the old frequency. Speak a simple intention aloud, such as, I choose the reality where I am aligned, clear, and empowered. Take a deliberate step forward into the new line of light. Breathe deeply and imagine absorbing the energy of the new path. This ritual doesn't magically change your life overnight. It changes you, and you change your life. 5. Obstacles to shifting realities. You will encounter resistance, old beliefs, emotional loops, familiar patterns. Don't fight them. Observe them. Every time you notice an old pattern without identifying with it, you weaken its influence. Reality shifts not when you suppress the old, but when you stop feeding it. And remember, consistency matters more than intensity. Tiny shifts in state, repeated daily, alter your trajectory far more profoundly than rare moments of inspiration. As we close this journey into the hidden architecture of parallel realities, remember this: nothing in your life is fixed. Not your past, not your future, not even the version of yourself you believed you were destined to remain. Reality is far more fluid, responsive, and malleable than you've ever been taught. Every moment is a crossroads where infinite paths converge, and your consciousness, your state of being, is the silent compass that determines which path becomes real for you. The ancient mystics knew this. They understood that we are not confined to a single timeline, but immersed within a vast ocean of possibilities, each one whispering a different story, each one waiting for us to tune into its frequency. They left clues in symbols, myths, and rituals, echoes of a truth so powerful that it could liberate anyone who learned to wield it consciously. And now, you carry this knowledge for yourself, not as a theory, but as a lived understanding. You've explored the history, the mechanics, the paradoxes, and the practical techniques for aligning with the reality that reflects your highest state of being. You know that your thoughts matter, your emotions matter, your consistency matters, because these are the tools with which you sculpt your timeline. The question now is simple but profound. Which version of you will you choose to become next? And what reality will unfold when you make that choice? The power to shift your path does not lie in striving to control the external world. It lies in mastering your internal world. When you shift your state, your reality rearranges itself around you. When you change your frequency, you change the world you experience. If this exploration opened your mind, stirred something deep within you, or helped you see your life from a new perspective, let me know in the comments. Share your experiences, your moments of déjà vu, your glimpses of synchronicity. Your stories may be the key that illuminates someone else's path. And if you're ready to continue uncovering the mysteries of consciousness, esoteric wisdom, and ancient truths, make sure you stay connected. There are many more secrets waiting to be revealed. Until then, choose wisely, for every choice reshapes the universe you walk in.